Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are going on an adventure today. We're going to take a road trip from where we live in Nampa, Idaho, and go up to Stanley, Idaho. It's supposed to be hot here in Nampa today, over 90 in the 90s. So we're going to head up to the mountains and get out of town and get some cooler weather, see some mountains, see some awesome sights, and see what adventures we can have. And we're bringing Bowie. And he wants to go. We have made it to Anderson Creek Hot Springs. The water is hot from underneath. It boils up, bubbles up. It's actually a pretty nice temperature. It was a pretty awesome hike on the way in too, going through the green and the trees and the bushes. But this is Anderson Creek Hot Springs.
Just got done at Anderson
Creek
Hot Springs. It was a good one. Bowie really enjoyed the hike. Just a single file. He got to be a deer. He likes to be the deer.
The lead deer.
The lead deer. And lots of creeks to pass. It was really warm, but to be honest, we're also out here on the hottest day of the spring.
Yep.
Like, it's 80 degrees. Super nice, super nice. Some trash though.
Secluded, in the woods, a nice hot soak, fairly clean. Like she said, there was some trash. I guess no matter where you go, there's going to be trash anymore. Pack it in, pack it out. But now we're heading up to Stanley. There's one more hot springs that we have yet to be or have yet to go to that's before Stanley. But we're going to hit Garden Valley and head on up to that one, so stay tuned. We are on our way to Sacagawea Hot Springs near Grand Jean, Idaho, and we had to stop because of this breathtaking view of the west side of some of these sawtooths right here. Now unfortunately, my camera does not have a zoom. I wish it did to show you guys, but a camera can't even do it justice anyways. You just have to come see this for yourself. It's incredible, incredible view. We just got done at Sacagawea Hot Springs. It was pretty popular. It's really in the middle of nowhere, so it's got to be popular with the locals. We're hours away from home. The water coming out of the side of the hill is scalding hot. It's got to be in the 170s would be my guess. I've been meaning to get a thermometer to be able to tell, but don't have it quite yet. But then it mixes with the river water. That's for a nice soak, but there's just a ton of people here too. I guess that's just the way things go anymore. But nice little springs. I don't know how often we'll come here. Like I said, it's in the middle of nowhere, but we're glad we did it.
Oh, we like the river.
But we liked the river.
Oh, he doesn't like water. But he liked the river.
All right, well now we're going on to Stanley. We're going to flip a U-turn, head 5 miles back to the highway. Then it's something like 30 more miles to Stanley. So that's what we're going to be doing. Well, we drove up the road a little bit to turn around and saw that there's a lodge where you can bring your RV. There's public facilities, a pool, food, the works. So it makes sense that there's a lot of people at this hot springs. You stay at the lodge and then you soak at the springs. But we didn't know that when we were planning this trip. But still a good soak, still had fun, and we're on to the next one. Christina found some sage. Not sagebrush. She made clear that it's not sagebrush, but sage itself. She's pretty excited. What kind of witchcraft are you going to do, hon?
An anti-inflammatory tea.
Sorcery! Sorcery, I say! just got done at Sunbeam Hot Springs. It's northeast of Stanley. We stopped here as well to eat some lunch. Got some Subway back in Garden Valley. But we were expecting a spring that's mixed with the river. Well, here in the Northwest, we call it Snowmageddon. A couple years ago, we got the most snow in the last 50 years, and it looks like it washed away the pools that soaked with the river. But instead, somebody has built a man-made pool, as you saw, and it was pretty cool. It was super deep, super warm. It was a lot of fun. Again, more man-made than in nature, but it was quirky and fun. So that's it for Sunbeam, and we're gonna head back towards Stanley now after we get some food. So we hiked down to what some people call Chem Hot Springs, others call it Cove Hot Springs. Sorry, I forgot to take footage, but we found the hot creeks that come into the river and mix. The river's a little high right now, so there's not much of a soak, but forgot to turn the camera on. So sorry about that. I'm not hiking back down.
And then back up.
And then back up. I'm a fat old man, but yeah, there's a couple creeks that come down and mix with the river. Again, the river is in spring runoff still, so it's high, but that was Chem or Cove Hot Springs. By that I mean you didn't see it, but on to the next one. So Christina and Bowie scaled up that mountain, and I am wearing flip-flops, and my feet are wet, so I will not be joining them. However, that was Bridge Creek Hot Springs, and the creek is pretty high. Again, we're still in spring runoff, so the soak was pretty cold. Mostly river water, or creek water, I mean. We're heading back to the car now. Again, me along this horrible trail. Truly a tiny little footpath trail. And they're up top, somewhere up there, walking along the dirt road, having a nice Sunday stroll while I struggle in my flip-flops. But that's my own fault. So we're heading back to the car. So what you saw was, gosh, I don't remember the name of it. What's the name?
Elkhorn?
Da-na-na.
Elkhorn Hot Springs, the boat box.
Elkhorn Hot Springs, the boat box. As you saw, it's this cool old rusty hot pot is what I call them, and you fill it up with water and you soak. The water comes actually under the road and pipes into it. It's really pretty cool. The directions, Christina got me this really cool book. I was going to show you guys this at the end of the day, but I'll show you it now. Hiking Hot Springs in the Pacific Northwest. It's by Evie Liddon and Sally Jackson. This is their, it's an what edition? Fifth edition. And so it's a really, really cool book. We've been using it on all our hot springs today. Previous trips, we've been using it. The directions she gives in here aren't great, but if you have a GPS, she takes you right to them. But that one's really cool. So check it out. Just clean up after yourselves, please. Please, please, please clean up after yourselves. But we've got one more for the day, and that will be 7. 7 in one day, beating our old best of 4 in one day by almost double. And then we've got a long drive home. But one more left, Snakepit Hot Springs, and we're going to go hit that right now. We've made it to the last hot springs of the day, Snakepit Hot Springs. But guys, this is a painting. I wish you could see it in person. This is incredible. Speechless.
You guys are lucky you're in the river.
You're soaking in the spring. The river's right there. And one of the most breathtaking views in all of Idaho is right there. The camera just doesn't do it justice. So we did it. We hit 7, count them, 7 hot springs in one day. And if you haven't seen our other video, we call it Hot Springs Road Trip, and we did 4 hot springs in a day, and at the time it was our personal best. We were so proud, and we just blew that out of the water.
Those are rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers. And it was an awesome trip, incredible views, good soaks. We started at Anderson Creek, which is near Garden Valley. We drove up the road to Sacagawea, which is near Grand Jean, Idaho. Then up here in Stanley, we hit all the ones that didn't need a river fording, because there's no fording the Salmon River in spring runoff. So we hit Sunbeam, which had that old stone bathhouse that was pretty cool. Then we came down and hit Chem and or Cove Hot Springs, which the river had mostly washed away. Then we hit Basin Creek Hot Springs, which the river did the same thing, was too high. Then we hit, I can never remember the name of that.
Elkhorn or Boat Box.
Elkhorn and or Boat Box Hot Springs. And then we came here for a total of 7. And let me make sure that's 7. Anderson Creek, Sacagawea, Sunbeam, Cove, Basin, Melting Pot. I can't even just tell me the name. Elkhorn, and this place. 7!
Snakepit, and again,
Snakepit was probably the best. We probably saved the best for last because, again, I wish that my camera could do it justice. If you haven't looked up pictures of Stanley, Idaho, just Google image search and you'll see just what incredible mountains there are here. They're the Sawtooths. And where the hot springs is located, it is an unaffected view. Just a straight shot. She's going to show you. I just wish the camera was better because it's such an incredible view. But we had a lot of fun, and thank you guys for watching as always. You guys are the best subscribers, watchers, viewers in the world. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We try and do this stuff as much as we can, working 2 full-time jobs and not being in the top 1%. Anyways, that's a good conversation for another day. But thanks again for watching. We kicked ass like we always do. 7 hot springs in one day. Thanks for watching, guys.